second, Lauren. I've just got YouTube coming up right now. All right. We're good to go. Go ahead.
Right. Okay, then. It is my pleasure to join us for the July Mineland Reclamation Board meeting. I'll start with just a quick roll call of Mr. Singletary. I see you, so I'm going to say you're here. And then Mr. Mock as well.
Present.
Morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Quinlan? Yes, we can. Yes, good morning.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Quinlan, do you want to hit us off here and kind of set the stage for today's conversation?
Yeah, so with just 3 board members, we don't have a quorum, so the board can't take any action. And that includes, any kind of motion that would be voted on. So pretty limited on what we can do today. We can't approve the minutes from last month, but I think kind of directors' reports, things that are informational for the board can go ahead. But other than that, without a quorum, we're kind of stuck. Just the board can receive information but can't act on it, and that's sort of where we're at with just the three board members. We're one shy of a quorum to conduct official business today.
There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that kind of info on how we need to proceed today. I guess with that, I think all I'm comfortable doing is the executive director report, the division director report, and then any sort of public comment or any, like Mr. Clement says, any information that you all would like the board to have moving forward. So kicking it off there, Mr. Mock, would you mind giving us the executive director report, please?
Sure. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Brandon Tim Mock, Deputy Director with the Department of Natural Resources. A couple of updates this morning. One, just want to let you all know that we have hired a new Assistant Director for Water, Kelly Romero Heaney. Kelly comes to us from the city of Steamboat Springs, where she served as the Water Resources Manager. She will be serving the majority of her time in the Northwest area there out of Steamboat in her home, but we'll be working every couple of weeks out of the Denver office. We've been exceptionally impressed with Miss Romero Heaney, and I look forward to you all having a chance to work with her. Also, we promoted another individual within our organization. Angela Bogue is now DNR's first Assistant Director for Climate, Forests, and Energy. She's been an absolute asset over the last year here, leading our climate and forest health policy initiatives. To that degree also, in addition to hiring Ms. Bogue to the Assistant Director position, Executive Director Gibbs is challenging the Department of Natural Resources to look at everything that we do through a climate lens, and has asked all divisions to provide a primary point of contact on climate change within the divisions to advance DNR's work on this issue. Other news here, our WIGs are one step further to being finalized for the upcoming year. We will continue to work to develop stable funding sources for Colorado Parks and Wildlife to support wildlife state parks and outdoor recreation. This continues our multi-year WIG. A big piece of this will be also implementing the Keep Colorado Wild Pass. Expect that to be up and functional by 2023, 2024 at the latest. The second WIG is continuing from last year, balancing conservation and recreation, working with regional partnerships to establish a statewide conservation and recreation plan. WIG 3 is increasing wildfire risk reduction. It's a new WIG this year, in which we'll work to develop forest management projects and enhance community wildfire risk reduction, as well as a number of other things. And then our fourth WIG is to continue our efforts to promote and achieve equity, diversity, and inclusion within the department. The water WIG has been advanced to a cabinet level WIG this year, and so that the CWCB and the Department of Natural Resources, in partnership with other state agencies, will work collaboratively to finalize the 2022 Colorado Water Plan update. And the plan will produce recommended actions in 4 strategic focus areas, including cities, streams, farms, and people and planning. In other news here, I can't remember if I updated this last month or not. Colorado Parks and Wildlife also formalized the first round of regional partnerships. We funded 5 regions around the state to work on their conservation and recreation plans that will be rolled up into that statewide plan. And then also funded 2 additional regions to receive funding for the development of their regions. The Colorado Geographic Naming Board, I mentioned before, has finalized its bylaws and has created a draft process. We've been considering 2 proposals to rename reservoirs located on private property in San Miguel County. Those proposals will be under final consideration at the August meeting. More information on the Naming Advisory Board can be found on our website, and we will begin identifying the next round of naming proposals to take under consideration. And then just an update, I've mentioned this in the past, the Colorado State Board of Land Commissioners filed a petition for classification application to obtain public lands in mineral state in lieu of lands to which the state was entitled, but did not receive under its Statehood Act. The BLM announced the last phase of the environmental assessment. The public comment period has now closed, and the BLM is now considering the proposed action to transfer approximately 17,000 acres of federal surface and federal minerals to an additional 6,000 acres of federal mining estate to the state of Colorado. And then a couple of final things here. Not sure if everybody is aware, but I know a number of you know Russ George and know him well. He recently announced that he's stepping down from his role as the Water Conservation Board, as the Director of Compact Negotiations for the Interbasin Compact Committee. As you know, Mr. George has served the state of Colorado exceptionally admirably in so many capacities, and has been one of Colorado's most preeminent statesmen, and we certainly wish him well. The process to replace Mr. George is underway, and I'll keep you apprised of those developments. And then progress continues on the report of the work group to explore ways to strengthen current water anti-speculation laws. That report is due to the Water Resources Review Committee by August 15th, our next meeting, so I should have an update then. We'll probably have a presentation in the interim committee meeting or at a separate session at the Colorado Water Congress Summer Conference in late August. And then finally, on the restoration of wolves, just a couple of updates here. The next round of public meetings are taking place today in Montrose, Thursday in Gunnison, and then Monday in Craig, and next Wednesday in Grand Junction. There is a new website that has been set up, wolfengagementco.org, to kind of track these public engagements and meetings in progress with the wolf reintroduction planning. And then to that point, I'd just like to say that I apologize for the delay in getting a new appointments to the MLRB. We are working on that. I'm going to make that a priority to hopefully have those 2 seats filled by our next meeting. So appreciate the patience, and again, apologize for that delay. And that concludes my report.
Oh, thank you. A lot going on. Any questions from Mr. Mock? Okay, well, thank you very much. Ms. Brannon, could you please give us the division director report?
Yes, Penny Brandon for the division. Well, we hit the road for the first time since COVID, so that was really exciting. Jim Stark and Candy and I went up to Craig and spent a couple of days there. We went to the Trapper Mine and we met up with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, including the president and CEO, George Sparks. So what they're doing is they are working on a podcast, and I think it was really George's idea, and so hence his keen interest in his presence to talk about the Craig community. And I don't think they quite know right now what the theme is going to be. They've got 30 interviews scheduled, and they're going to let the community tell them what basically I think what the theme is going to be. Because we were one of the first, if not the first interview. So they interviewed the mine, the head of the environmental programs, Graham, who was fantastic. And then they interviewed Jim and they interviewed myself, mostly Jim and myself, mostly about reclamation. Then we got out and we actually were able to see a perfect area. I mean, there's numerous areas like this at Trapper, but this was perfect, where you could look up on the mountain and see where it had been reclaimed, and it looked it didn't look like reclaimed, it looked native. I mean, there's no way you would know that mining happened there. And then right below that was the sort of moonscape mining. So you could really see the contrast. And even though it's a podcast and there was no video, I still think that visual for those folks was a powerful one for them to take into their podcast. And so anyway, it was a good trip. Stayed in Craig, and just really fun to work with the museum on this project. And to the extent that, we have a limited role. And then we came back. Now, the next day they went on to Kalawao. So they were doing more interviews at Kalawao. So, but they mostly wanted us at Trapper for that reclamation versus mining contrast. So anyway, it was a great trip. And that's basically all I have. Any questions or comments?
All right, thank you so much. Any questions there from Ms. Brand? All right, sounds like a really interesting project. Do you have a timeline on when that podcast might come out, or how folks can watch it?
Yeah, they think it'll come out around Thanksgiving, probably around sometime in November. So they're doing, like I said, they're doing a gazillion interviews, and then, the editing process. Apparently, I was talking to the lady that does all the editing, and it sounds like it's really involved. But yeah, November. So we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Okay. Well, I guess the only other question I have for everyone on the call is if there's any information you all would like to share with the board, although we cannot obviously rule on anything or make any decisions today. Nope. Mr. Singletary.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
I don't have any real information, but I would ask if I could ask Russ Means for his phone number. I'd like to visit with him about a pit up in Fremont County for a minute.
You bet. Let me I'll send it to you and stuff. I just don't want to do it over the airwaves here and stuff like that, but I'll send it to you right away.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's no big deal, but since we don't have a lot of business today, I thought, well, I'll at least do something.
You bet. Okay. Yeah. I'll have Cammie send it to you and stuff in that right now. So.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay. Well, I guess if there are no other discussion topics today, I just thank everyone for their time and look forward to seeing you all and some hopefully new members in August as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.